Hey everybody, it's Ashley Schmidt here, and I'm excited to be here, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of dreary outside, but it was a nice day, 60, 50, 60 this morning when I went to walk. My biggest thing is pollen. I am allergic to pretty much everything outside, like everything. And so the pollen, yesterday it was raining a little. That looks like in camping. That's so cool. We were looking at camping, my husband and I, with our kids over Memorial Day, but still everywhere has that 14-day rule that well, not everywhere, but everywhere near us was saying you had to stay there for 14 days, and they were only accepting 14-day reservations. So, yeah, not really what we were looking for Memorial Day weekend. Anyway, so okay, so I wanted to talk about something a little different today. So I was coming up with creative ideas for my entrepreneurial group. I work with a local networking entrepreneur group, women, and I'm doing a talk on leveraging Amazon for your business. So I had some fun ideas. I have a big talk. I've got to make some slides today. I know, PowerPoint slides, but I'm going to make them anyway. So one of the topics, though, that I thought I've heard a lot about, and I've actually done in my fiction business. So I don't know if any of you knew, I publish fiction, nonfiction books. I had I think my email list for my fiction, it was kind of Hallmark type romances. I had an email list of almost 10,000 people. So nothing shabby, but for me, with the fiction writing, since I wrote it myself, and it's definitely profitable, and especially once you get that email list going and you get fans. But trying to publish, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 word novel every month, because you don't have to, but honestly, that's kind of the way it goes to make really big money. It was very stressful for me. I dictate, actually, so I did a lot of dictation. So if anyone wants to know about dictation, I've got so many tips and tricks. I actually dictated a book while driving across the country. We were moving, and I was moving one of the cars from, where was it? I think it was from Ohio to Mississippi. Maybe it was Mississippi to Ohio. Anyway, I'm not really sure. It was some long 18-hour drive type thing. And so I dictated an entire book, and that was kind of fun. Anyway, so I've done this method in fiction, and I hadn't really considered until recently how I could use the same method for low content. But I was seriously considering it as I was writing this talk, the talk for my women's group, of how can you leverage the other things at Amazon to get you a following to build a brand. Because I think in the low content business, I have a lot of stuff with a ton of different pen names and stuff like that. But I think the key to making a true business, rather than just, throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, which is kind of what I did at the beginning, which I needed. I was kind of burnt out from my fiction writing. And so I kind of needed that, just toss things at the wall without much thought. But now that I've done this a year and I'm seeing the success I'm having with some pretty, actually at the past few days have been great for this one niche that I have as a higher price point. And they're like $12.99 books, and I've been selling quite a few, which is a really good profit. $5 is nothing to sneeze at. And so each time I sell those, I get really excited. So I was trying to say, okay, how do I get people interested, and how do I lead people to my books who maybe aren't necessarily searching? How do I create a brand? How do I expand that brand? So I was thinking one of the methods they actually use for fiction authors is, and nonfiction too, is you write shorts, like short kind of introductory type stuff. They call them Kindle shorts. So a few thousand words. You can have pictures, all sorts of things, and you sell them at definitely do it under Kindle Unlimited so that you can offer free promos. But there's also a way, if you guys are interested in learning on how to make a Kindle book actually free. So I was thinking of creating these Kindle type books, and you could definitely publish on paperback too, but I wouldn't actually expect to sell too many of them. but you could publish them that way too. But to publish under the brand I'm working on, to give some basic information and give it for free and say, hey, if you like this, you might want to try my XYZ content book, right? Or no content book, right? And you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to write. Well, first off, we're not talking writing the great American novel. We're not talking Harry Potter. We're not talking anything. We're talking that if you can speak about a topic for 10 minutes, that's what I'm talking about writing. Okay, so literally, if you want, I know in my version of Word, there's like a dictation thing. So I was actually I've done a lot of dictating too, but I was thinking even for the simple person that hasn't wrote anything, they could press that dictate button and just start talking. To actually get it to put periods and things like that, you actually have to dictate your punctuation. So I love to swim, period, new paragraph, all that. But even if you just start talking into your computer for a while about any topic and just start talking, you're going to have something on the page, right? Just don't look at the screen. Just start, okay, write, an outline of what I want to do and write it down and just put subjects that you would talk about. And so I'll say, let's take, for example, camping, the camping niche, right? So maybe it's you do some research online of great places to camp for kids or something like that. So do some research, go out there, research, and then, write a book like the 10 best places to camp. You could do the US, or you could do it by region, or however you want to do it. And for kids, if you're camping with kids, and then just talk about each one. You've done some research. You can't copy and paste from there because that would be plagiarism, copyright issues, all that, but you can talk about it. So read the stuff and then start talking about what hit you when you read the articles of why you think it would be good for kids. And you can make just even lists. Like, you don't have to make this complex. You could literally make a list of why they were good, right? Everyone can write a list. I mean, how many people write their to-do list every day, their grocery list every day? You can write a list. So don't think of this as so much content, right? It's just doing some research and then writing out some information that people would find useful. And then you can put that book on Kindle for free, right? You can do a Kindle book. And the nice thing about Kindle is it doesn't need to be formatted. You can just put it in a Word doc, and then you use the word titles. There's a title setting on the top where you can set like subjects. So just make subjects titles, and then Kindle will create a table of contents from that. You can basically use that as a table of contents. There is some rules in Kindle. Hey, Myron. Myron. So there are some rules as far as you have to have a table of contents. You can't put like links. You can put links to outsites, but really the idea they want the information to be there. But you could actually put all your reasons you like this campground or whatever, and then put a link to the campground, which would be acceptable because the value is in explaining why you think this campground or whatever would be good. So that's kind of the idea. Let's see what other ideas you could do. And like I said, this is not the great American novel. So you create these smaller type books that you're giving some informational value. You've already done some of the research to create these low content books, or maybe a lot of it because you're creating content books on things you know. So what do you know? Put that into something that you could put on a Kindle, and then put it out there for free. Or for 99 cents, $2.99 on Kindle Reads, and then you could put it under the Kindle Select program. And I would definitely use Kindle Select for this because the idea is you want people to buy, you want to funnel people towards your low content books, correct? So you want to basically, in the back of your Kindle book saying, hey, I've also wrote this great logbook for camping. So please, you go camping at these places and then use this great camping book for kids or camping book for you or whatever. And you put that on, and and so you can kind of link them to your books, but you have to put that at the back. You can't put it at the front. That's kind of one of the Kindle rules. They don't want you pushing people off the site or off the Kindle books. It's kind of like an additive at the end. You can definitely use Kindle to do that. Now, how do you do free? Okay, so the way to do free, I haven't done it in a while, so I'm not 100% positive on this. I've done it a few years ago, and I don't think the rules have changed. I can definitely look it up, but you could look it up too pretty easily. The previous way to do a free Kindle book, so let's say you want to make, yes, exactly, Teresa, a lead magnet. So you can make this free. Okay, so the way to do it was to take, you put it out there for 99 cents, right? And then you have to put it out on other sites, which isn't as complex as you think. Draft to digital is fabulous. Draft and then the to digital, look it up, and it'll actually format you can put it on their site, and it'll format books into a pretty Kindle thing, so you don't have to worry about fiddling with Kindle. You can actually take that .mobi file, upload that directly to Kindle too, if you're worried about Kindle KDP actually formatting your book into a .mobi. .mobi, sorry, this is really technical. The .mobi is the type of file that you would use on Kindle that's their file format so that it works on their Kindle. You can take a Word doc, .docx, and upload that to the Kindle platform, and it'll convert it into Mobi. But Draft to Digital will do that as well, and it converts it because everywhere else uses an EPUB, and they'll convert it to an EPUB, and then you can push it out to these other sites. Now, a lot of other sites you can push it for free, so you don't have to actually do it at 99 cents. So you push it through Draft to Digital. I'm sorry, this is technical, but Draft to Digital for free. And then what you do is you wait till that gets published. You wait a week or two so you can see it. And then you can actually email Amazon and say, hey, see, you just literally copy the link on Barnes & Noble or wherever that it's free, and show them, say, hey, Kindle, KDP, it's free on this site. Can you price match? It might be very polite, be very kind, be very gracious, and say, thank you so much for your help. I so appreciate it. Gush a little, because they're more likely to do it. Sometimes it takes a few emails to get this done. And you can also have like your friend's email too. Like, hey, I'd like to price matched. But I was super polite and thanked them profusely and appreciated them, that I've gotten it done fairly quickly. So I think that's still the method. Can you put the links in the YouTube notes of this video? I'm on the phone. The links. What links, Teresa? Which links? Oh, to Draft to Digital? Yes. I'll look it up. And honestly, I think if you type in Google Draft and then a to digital, it'll be right there. And then KDP, you're familiar with KDP, right? Just instead of putting the print book, you go to the ebook to make these ebook type things. But yeah, I'll put Draft to Digital. They are fantastic. They will also format. It's a really great platform. They do a lot of fun stuff for free. You can get your print books, like if you're doing chapter type books, it'll do all sorts of cool formatting with drop caps and make it really pretty. So you can kind of take your stuff, and if you wanted a paperback version that you didn't have to fiddle with on Word, they'll make one for you, and they'll make tables of contents. It's really great, and it's a free platform. They do take a % if you publish it for money through to these other sites, but honestly, they take so very little that the effort you would have taken to publish it to like all these sites, it's totally worth it. But and if you have a free book, they don't charge you anything because they can't take a % of zero. So yeah, I can put those links in. Is there any questions? The idea is really that lead magnet thing. We can definitely do AMS ads, and I think that is a great strategy, but I was really trying to think, how do you build a brand? How did I do that with my fiction writing? I had a ton of lead magnets, and they were very, very effective getting people to, sign up for my email list, getting, like I said, 10,000 people on my email list, which I still have, but I haven't done any books in a long time. So I guess they're happy they're not getting extra emails. But how did I do that? I did that with, free things, free leads, and I got people, and you don't convert everybody, but how hard is it to just, you've done some research, make a top 10 list of the best 10, like I said, the camping niche, 10 best places to camp with your kids. I mean, Teresa, you camp all the time. You could totally, without much research, do some camping stuff, kind of stuff as a lead magnet without much thought. Like I said, it's not the great American novel. All you need to do is have it be like able to be read in a very simple manner. You're not talking amazing English, and you can make lists. I think this campground is a great place because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons, right? You can make a list. The next campground is really great because it has this, right? It does not need to be the great American novel. It just needs to be it needs to be interesting in the sense it's informative, to inform people so that they like and trust your brand. They're like, wow, this person gave me all this great information for free. Let me go check out their kids camping book. This is a really cool camping book, and make it fun, make it for the person. So yeah, kind of leading that to my camping journal, for example. Exactly. Like just a list of things they might want to bring camping, right? Or anything. It does not need to be the great American novel. You just need to make it cheap and free so that it gets exposure. And then you can also, oh my gosh, I've got so much stuff for all the fiction I did. There's a ton of places you can put your stuff and tell the world that it's free. Like, I don't know if any of you have signed up for those services where they tell you what's free on KDP or Kindle. I have a ton of them. I'll dig them all up because I have a ton of places. I know that my book rocks, that book rocks. There's a ton of services out there that will put your stuff for free, and you can submit. You just go on their website, you submit like, hey, I have this book for free from this time. And some of them are paid, a lot of them are free. But the free ones, hey, if they pick your book up, great. If not, oh well. I actually had, I did one freebie giveaway that I did a bunch of free promos on these sites. And I think I had like 20,000 downloads. It was the most I'd ever had. It was ridiculous. So sometimes you get picked up in a really great way. Sometimes you don't, but that's okay. It's not really all that hard. So there's ways to get your free promos out there. And if you just kind of do those regularly, you can really get some good free promotion. So yeah, okay. So Teresa says, how to set up your camper at the campground, like a checklist and gear for needed example. Yes, like things people would want to know, like, okay, yeah, camping for the beginner, right? You don't know how to even set up your tent, right? Or you don't know you're renting a camper. You don't have no idea what to do. Read my free book, right? That sort of thing, exactly. Just think like the absolute newbie. The one thing too I've really learned with this YouTube channel is I really like talking about the advanced type topics. I'll totally admit it. But when I go back and look at my analytics for what of my videos gets the most views, it's that beginner stuff, right? RV newbie. So that's what I'm saying. The newbies are the ones who are the most hungry for information. I'll admit, because I've done this for so many years, I'm hungry for the advanced tactics. And so that's kind of what I like talking about on my show. And maybe I'm totally over your heads, but please feel free to ask questions as we go, or yeah. I want to be able to talk about all these topics because they interest me, and the more I can think about them and express them to you, I think it's fun. But what I'm saying is the analytics for the newbies, like that's the most hits I got on my YouTube channel. So I think hitting the newbies for whatever your topic is going to be a great one, like social media planner. So social media for idiots, right? The 10 things you need to know about social media computer illiterate, barely get on Facebook. Let me teach you about Facebook, right? So you're not talking about an audience that you have to know a huge amount of information for. You're trying to get an audience that you know maybe a little more than. At least you know how to turn on Facebook, or you know how to set up your camper. Maybe you're not an expert by any means, but you can talk about it for 10 minutes. If you can, tell somebody how to get their camper out, or tell somebody how to get on Facebook and click the correct buttons, because sometimes I get lost on Facebook. They move the buttons. Does everyone hate that? I hate when they move the buttons. So my focus to empower single women to full-time RV. You have such a great topic, Teresa. You could write a ton of really cool, what I call their Kindle shorts. Like we're talking 1,000 words here, 1,000, 2,000 words. So that's like really, and like I said, if you use lists, people love lists, right? Because lists are easy to read, lists are easy to digest, and lists are easy to write. So if that's your focus, Teresa, then I think you have some fabulous Kindle books in you. And if you want, you can start just trying them for 99 cents and seeing if you sell any. And then you can do the Kindle promotions for the 5 free days every 3 months and, promote to your books. So this is one of the focuses I'm working on. I'm actually doing some, I'll tell you because it's pretty in depth. I'm doing some real estate type books, and they're low content, like real estate sort of. Anyway, it's pretty complex. I actually, my husband and I own over 100. I don't know. We own a ton of real estate stuff, 100, 200 houses. I don't even know how many we own anymore because we kind of get lost in it. And so I've been doing real estate for a really long time with my husband. So I'm kind of, since I know that niche, I'm doing some low content in that niche, but I just have a book that I'm going to make for free or cheap, this lead magnet idea on things all new home sellers need to know, right? So something like that. And it's stuff I know, right? So things new homeowners need to buy. So things new camper newbie, that's a cool, RV newbies, and if you're specific, RV newbies for women, or, something like that, the more specific you are, the more you will, focus on your target audience. You could try a general one and you could try a focused one. But I bet you'll get more bites on the focused one. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know. I'm excited about this idea. It does take a little more work, but I think the idea of just throwing spaghetti at the wall is kind of over. It always gets over at a certain point in time, right? You want to build something that lasts. And I think spending a little bit extra effort, like if you create like a line of RV camping, low content, medium content, and then create some lead magnets. They're easy to write. Like lists, like I said, lists are easy to write. If you're really concerned about writing, you can hire someone on Upwork. I actually just hired someone on Upwork to write me an article, not because I couldn't write it. I wanted it done faster than it was going to get on my to-do list. So I actually just went through their work yesterday. They did an amazing job, and it wasn't cheap. It was like $240 to have them write this. It was like 8,000 words, but I'm really happy with it. And it saved me 2-3 weeks worth of work. So, I'm fortunate enough I was able to hire that out, but it did take a decent chunk out of my budget this month for things I can do. But I got it done way faster than I would have done it. So I was excited about that. Anyway, so do it yourself. Lists. Don't think this is a great American novel, or, you can hire it out to, I can't draw, so I would definitely hire out people for my coloring book pages. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope you're excited. I love what I do with low content books and medium content, but I think to create something truly lasting, to create a business that has hooks and doesn't just, flash in the pan and go out, you need to create something that stably leads people towards what you have, your brand, your bulk of the things you're making. Now, if you want to make some I had low content books. I added some last night that were really funny, virtual meeting ones that were kind of funny, just for kicks and giggles, because you have cool ideas. Definitely add it. Have some fun with this. But I think focusing on a brand and building something is going to be the way to go. I mean, look at Pretty Simple Planners, right? They make a ton of money, and it's because they focus, they advertise. I've seen all their stuff on social media, on websites. So how do you get all that attention? They pay for a lot of advertising, but I'm trying to think of other ways that maybe isn't as expensive and just as effective. So, oh, good. I'm so happy this helps you, Teresa. I think you could do some so cool things, like just talk, right? Just talk, and like dictation, right? I love dictation because it gets words on the page. Like sometimes you're staring at that screen and you're like, oh, I can't do it, right? But if you just say, okay, what do I know about, I don't know, anything, right? What do I know about camping? What's the first thing I do when I get to, camper? Make sure the camper's level, right? Make sure then open the slides and then make sure it's not tilted because sometimes, on gravel versus dirt, you'll sink because the slides. So then you may have to put them together and then re-level it. Right? So, stuff like that. But some people might think, oh, if I'm level and then I open the slides, it'll be fine. Well, not all the time. So, so things like that, they just don't know until, you've done it a few times. So yes, put your Pinterest on, because it's always going to be there, your Kindle book on Pinterest, and you can put it Pinterest, Instagram. There's a million places you could put it. And if you're building that brand, going through the effort of putting it on Pinterest is worthwhile, right? Giving a freebie away on Pinterest is worthwhile because it's going to funnel them into something bigger. And then you can make your low content books some more content books. You start with the freebie, you start with your low content books, and then maybe you start with more detailed books and content. Maybe read some low content books with some I'm into QR codes right now. So some QR codes to a YouTube channel, a private link that you can demonstrate these things to women, right? How to do it without the strength. Like my husband can do stuff and he's like, just do this. I'm like, yeah, I'm a girl. No, like that's not how I can do it, right? The men hustle through it. But you're a woman and you can talk to that woman's perspective of like, yeah, I don't just lift a huge log because I am not a big, strong guy. So you can talk through it and talk about, no, I get this tool so that I could just do this, or I find, this method much more effective because I just don't have the brawn that a lot of guys do. I'm always finding different ways to do stuff than my husband because he just, strengths through it and I can't do that. So he's always laughs at me in my ways because I'm like, I can't do that. That ain't happening. Anyway, so hopefully this is helpful. I'm excited about it. I started this journey, like I said, I did hire out some because I wanted to get a project moving along. I have so many projects. My to-do list is ridiculous. And I'm always thinking of new ones. So I was excited about this real estate one. So I hired out some stuff and then I'm doing some stuff myself and creating books and all sorts of stuff. But I've decided that I really need to take all this knowledge in my head and get it into a form that goes from like leading people along the path from a lead magnet to that. And I've done EMS ads and they are effective, but I just think for the sustainability factor, you've got to kind of create something more than that. Anyway, so I hope you all found this helpful. Thank you, Teresa. I'm glad you are excited. I have so many cool ideas for you. I'm sorry. I'm so much better at other people's ideas than my own because I get excited and I start thinking of things for them to do instead of me to do, right? Anyway, so hopefully that's helpful. I've said that like 20 times. I get so nervous on these YouTube things. I just roll with it. So hope you all hope you all deal with me. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited about content books and low content books. And I love what I do. And I hope you all can find that love and passion too. So I will talk to you all later. Okay. Bye.